Very good. Right, we'll get started with our first speaker, and we're going to start with the presentation.
My name's Tuariki Delamere. I'm a 69-year-old male from New Zealand, and I want to share with you some of my bladder cancer journey. And as you also noticed, I'm a wannabe shot putter as well as a bladder cancer survivor, as one can see from my ostomy bag and this big scar down the middle. My journey started in April 2019 when my GP, being a little bit suspicious, sent me along to the radiology to have an ultrasound scan. The young lady came back and said, "Mr. Delamere, you've got an enlarged prostate." And apologies ahead of time for me being politically incorrect, but disappointingly, that's all she said was enlarged down there. You know, we men want everyone to lie about that. Anyway, fast forward to May, because I was lucky enough to have full coverage medical insurance with Southern Cross. It was only 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm in having a TURP operation, transurethral resection of the prostate. And when I woke up, I had catheters coming in, catheters coming out, and I was told that not only did they resect the prostate, but they discovered a tumor on my bladder, which they took out, and everything's been sent along to the lab for testing. The results came back. I had fairly invasive, aggressive, it looked like bladder cancer. So in June, I went in for my TURBT, the transurethral resection of the bladder, and transperineal biopsies. And I must say, I'm glad I didn't Google up what transperineal biopsy meant. You know, just the thought of going into the operating room with a big needle going in where they were sticking it probably would have put me off a bit. But anyway, came out of that, and the results from that said yes, the tumor that had been taken out in April had come back very quickly. And my surgeon at 161 Gillies, Andrew Williams, told me the same thing as Dr. Google: take it all out. Bladder, prostate, sphincter, lymph nodes. And that's what Andrew confirmed was the best suggestion. Then he started to try and calm me down, you know, because many people, males especially and females, freak out when you get the news not only of cancer, but it's all coming out. And I told Andrew, "Hey, Andrew, don't worry. You go in there, do your job, you take it all out. And just like the TURP, if you find other things that are really bad, such as the cancer spread into the danglies in the front, chop them off, bro. Tell me when I wake up and I'll deal with the positives." And then he goes, "What the hell's positive about that?" "Oh, well, you know, I'm doing the athletics, bro. Christmas, I'll be in the women's shop at women's discus. We do that here in New Zealand, okay?" So 19 August 2019, it all came out. And since then, I've had 3 or 4 6-monthly follow-ups. Yeah, I think it's 4 6-monthly follow-ups with a CT scan. I was having every 6 months 3 weeks of BCG, tuberculosis virus immunotherapy treatments. But on the 6th of April, my 13th treatment went a little bit haywire, to say the least. It turned out when they injected the virus in me through the stoma here, I already had a slight infection of the kidneys, and I ended up getting sepsis, rushed off to Auckland Hospital, and thank goodness that's where I was on 12:30 a.m. on the 8th of April, because my body started to shut down. And I woke up there and feeling all rather weird and struggling to breathe and struggling all sorts of things, and I saw the monitors there, and I saw a 38. Oh, is that my pulse? Oh no, that's my oxygen saturation levels, 38%. So, oh well, that's interesting. I might be out of here. And just as I passed out, a crash team arrived of, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 doctors and nurses, and I woke up 2 or 3 hours later, and they told me that I had sepsis and I had a rather adverse reaction, and they sorted it out, thank goodness. And I says, yeah, I know. We Māori, when we go to the ever after, we go up to Cape Reinga there and jump off. And I arrived up at Cape Reinga to jump off, and there's an old Pākehā fellow with a big beard, said his name was St. Peter. And he said, bro, your immigration minister got it wrong again. He gave you the wrong visa. Sent me home. Thank goodness. Turned out they're actually waiting for Prince Philip. And my elders who were already up there had already sorted out the speaker's bench. So I didn't get to go forward up into the ever after to welcome Prince Philip later on that day. So that's my journey to date. I've been lucky. My doctor sent me along, got it in time. Mind you, the message for people out there is my doctor got it in time. I knew for a couple of years something wasn't quite right. But it's not a big deal. You go out there and urinate. Oh my God, that's rather painful. Oh, must have done something. All I can say to people out there, no matter how small it is, if something's wrong with your waterworks that's not normal, go and get checked. I dodged a bullet. My doctor sent me in just in time because, the bladder's got, I think, 4 walls, and I was just ready to pop into the outside wall. And once you pop into the outside wall, it's pretty much over. About 3 or 4 years, 95% or so of people with bladder cancer are gone. So mine bladder was removed before it got out, and hopefully I'll be able to compete in the shot put when I hit the M100s instead of a 100-year-old record. Who knows? Anyway, that's my cancer journey to date. It's been, it's been issues here and there, but the great thing is, I get to wake up every morning, sun shining today, hosing down all last week. I get to be abused by the grandkids every day. I mean, I got my, the 8-year-old when he was 8. A lot of the kids from across the school at Westmead used to come in and stay after school, and when I come home sometimes early, he would look at me, hey, koro, show Mana your bag. And then he'd say, hey, koro, Mana's annoying me. Give him a squirt. So it's great. One's alive. Be positive. I hope this has been useful to you. It's not the end of the world. But goodness sake, every time something's wrong, go and get checked. Going into the journey of bladder cancer, I looked up a few videos online, and most of them were doctors in white coats standing very solemnly there and talking in a way it's hard to understand sometimes. So I want to make a video to tell you what you will be facing after you've had your radical cystectomy. They remove your bladder, sphincter, lymph nodes in case of males, the prostate. Okay? You will either have a urostomy bag or a neobladder. I won't comment on neobladder too much because I don't have one. I chose the ileal conduit, the urostomy bag that comes out through your abdomen. So, how often do you change your bags? I change mine every 2 or 3 days. I'm very fortunate being in New Zealand that the bags like this one here, the Hollister urostomy bag, they are delivered free to all cancer patients in New Zealand, and very grateful. I don't change mine by sitting down and doing it. So I change mine in the shower. And what I take with me in the shower is first one folded up in 4 square paper towel, one urostomy bag of course, and a plastic bag from the veggie section at Countdown. Got to throw the stuff away. And for me, I also use Epicare, which is a manuka honey gel, which I rub over the area around the stoma. Is it really helpful? I don't know. It makes me helpful in here, so that's good for me. So let's get to it. So here we go. Let's remove the bag. Take it. And here we go. Here's the stoma. Here's the incision. So here I am applying the Manuka gel, rub it in, and then wash it off. Make sure you dry the area very well. Then I use the paper towel and then affix the new bag over the stoma. And all done.
Honourable Tuariki Delamere.
Kia ora koutou, ngā tangata peke. To you and us, the bad people, tangata peke is the bad people. First, I'd like to acknowledge Hugh and Esme and Harry. Thank them for inviting me here today. I've thoroughly enjoyed the sessions today and learned quite a lot. And I've learned how to explain that little painful bit, raise the blades. That's what it felt like. And I never knew the words, so to David, thanks for that. I'll be using razor blades next time I do one of these things. As I said, I already apologised. I'm very unpolitical, anti-woke, and tongue-in-cheek when I talk about certain things. My grandson, little Waihana, they were doing charades at Christmas in Cardiff. Waihana, he's like 9, and he goes around, who am I? Who am I? I'm Koro trying to do the 100 metres. Now, the reason I was agreed to do this, because I wanted to share what it's like. And the best speech for me this morning was listening to Farid. You know, you get this and you enter into a tunnel of darkness for a short time, a long time. But you know, there's always someone who's a hell of a lot worse off than you. No matter what I've gone through, just doesn't come anywhere close to how Farid has handled the last 25 years of his life. And there is light, you just got to look for it. And, you know, it's my grandson, how he weaponizes this thing with his mates. And I've gone onto Facebook, I've gone to a whole bunch of Facebook groups around the world, and you read all these things, people are in despair, they're scared, and the message to get to them, you know, yeah, I've gone through some interesting times there, you know. And I'm sure some of the other people have met St. Peter too, and he sent you home from the pearly gates. But you're there, you're alive. And you can do things. Yeah, you might not do them quite as well as you did before. But I've been lucky, the surgeons and the nurses that I've had at 161 Gillies, at Brightside, Mercy, Ascot, all been brilliant, Auckland Hospital. And I will really apologise, I was too scared to put it in the movie, you see, but when I went over my tip, I woke up, and that's when they told me they'd found a tumour on the bladder as well. So I had catheters coming out. My daughter's sitting there, Alana, and the nurse comes in, her name's Elizabeth. She's from Zimbabwe, she's a black girl. She's wonderful. And I'm half cut, you know, eyes are kite on the drugs. Oh, kia ora, Elizabeth. Shut up, Dad. It's every man's dream, eh, Elizabeth? Shut up, Dad. What do you mean, Mr. Delamere? Oh, every hour on the hour, the beautiful nurse playing with the family jewels. And without missing a beat, she goes, yes, Mr. Delamere. Yeah. And it was black, it'd be bigger too, wouldn't it? Oh, you cow! I'm the former Minister of Immigration, you can go back to Africa. She and my daughter running down the hallway, killing themselves laughing. But that's me. I try to look at it's the positive. I'm still here, addressing all you people. It's fantastic, and my story is my story. Your story is your story. And the biggest thing for me in August 2019, I dodged a bullet. It was for 2 years, and I thank David Mason. I can explain it. I had the razor blade. It was a little razor blade in 2017. And by 2019, a few more razor blades had joined in. And I should have gone in 2017. Maybe I still have my bladder. But one positive about not having a bladder, I don't have to get up 6 or 7 times at night. Just got the night bag, clip it on, make sure you open it. I forgot one night, 2 o'clock, oh God, it's hot and sweaty tonight. Oh, shucks. That wasn't cool. But you be prepared. I mean, I travel with 2 spare bags, 1 night bag. I'm sure a lot of you do the same sort of thing. A waterproof sheet. I can't imagine anything worse than staying in a motel the next morning. Ma'am, I got something to tell you. You need to buy a new mattress. Because if you put the waterproof sheet down, you'll find it'll never happen. And if you don't, that mongrel called Murphy from Ireland will turn up and you're in trouble. And I put out another video. If you're traveling overseas, I used to travel all the time before COVID, but I just put out there, said, look, if you're traveling, you go for a window seat, you sit down, you talk to your patient, hey, look, I got one of these things, bro. I know it looks disgusting, but I'm about to clip the night bag. And that's because if I don't clip the night bag, somewhere over Indonesia, you're going to be really upset if I fall asleep and don't wake up in time. And I put that in the window because I don't want you, all the cabin crew, stepping on my night bag, because you'll then be upset again. But anyway, look, those are just some of my thoughts. Anything goes wrong, hey doc, I need to come and see you about something. And we're lucky in New Zealand. It's tragic reading about all the Americans there who can't afford these things. We just get them turn up. And so they have a lot of problems because I can't imagine these things lasting for 2 weeks. Some of them do it. And it leaks and they get all sorts of rashes and things. But anyway, that's me. Hopefully it was useful.
Tuariki Delamere. Any questions for Tuariki? Anyone have any questions? Just while you're thinking of one, I've got some prepared. What impact has bladder cancer had on your lifestyle? Is it restricted or hindered it?
Well, it restricted if I went into hospital, but no, it's slowed things down. I don't lift quite as much as I did 2 years ago. That's probably more due to age than to cancer.
Sure, I was just wondering, how you got told about having to change your bag in the shower?
How did I?
Find out about changing your bag in the shower?
Oh, I just got sitting on the couch. This is a pain in the ass. See if I can do it in the shower, and it's brilliant. I just go in there, wash it away, and make sure you've got to make sure it's dry. Obviously, that's the main thing. And you saw the towel hanging around, and I try to do it and make sure, because I found out that if you do it like that, because you've got no control. When your stomach decides it's going to go, it's going to go. So you keep an eye on that because you don't really want to change towels. And yeah, for me, that's the best way. It's just so easy.
I've got one more, which a great question might be useful for everyone here. What Facebook bladder cancer groups do you belong to, and are they helpful?
I find them very useful. There's Australian, I think it's New Zealand, Australia, cancer survivors or bladder cancer survivors. I just search bladder cancer and just join them. And yeah, you just try to contribute. And yeah, they're very good, a lot of good people on them. And they want to, how to do this? Oh, go see this video. Like one thing that we were talking outside is, like for men, you know, and for women, you know, your sexual functionality. Oh, go watch my video. I did a video called Men and Their Sexual Functionality after people like him take it all out. You know, Andrew Little, mate, gives me the little blue pill. Bro, it doesn't work. Give the whole bottle. It won't work, because the problem is, you see, your filthy, dirty mind got to send a signal down on the internet, yeah, but it won't get there because you didn't pay the bill. Vodafone and he cut it. And then they say, oh, we've got this other thing, you know, the implant. No, bro, that soldier's been on the battlefield since Vietnam. You keep your bloody knives away from him. And then there's the injection. And I'm lucky I had Justine. She allows me to use her name. An injection, she was there, she did it. They didn't even play the Star Spangled Banner, the bloody thing stood up. But she wouldn't take it for a test drive.